Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's Rachel here. As always, hit that subscribe button if you have not done so, and you can like this video so that it is referred to other viewers as well. So today I'm going to be sharing some tips and tricks that can help you read more books in 2021. I know that I typically put up videos where I share tips and tricks on how to read more or how to read a book a week, and I've done that, and I will leave the links to these videos in the description box below, and I will make sure that they pop up as I am speaking so that you guys can check them out after this video. But I thought that it was necessary, to also put out a video for people who are trying to read more books in 2021, or they're trying to set reading goals, or just go about developing their reading habit that you've long been wanting to work on forever. So I'm going to be sharing about 7 tips today quickly that could help you, read more books in 2021. Number 1, set a reading goal. Now, in 2021, you may have goals on other things that you're trying to accomplish in life generally, or you may have resolutions. You want to read more books in 2021, set a goal. And I did a video on how to set reading goals in 2021. You can check that out. Remember that a reading goal does not always have to be about the number, about reading 50 books or 70 books in a year. Your reading goal may be to read better quality books, or books that you enjoy reading, or just a particular genre of books that you are interested in. So if that is your case, make sure that you set a reading goal. You can also write down this reading goal. I really do believe in writing things down, just so that you can always come back to them and refresh your mind on why you set the goal in the first place, what you hope to achieve from setting this goal, and so that by the end of the year or middle of the year or even quarter way, you can gauge your performance so far. But of course, with compassion and self-love, which you will get from my video on how to set reading goals for 2021. The next tip will be to read multiple books at once. Now, this is something that I recently started trying. I was not always a reading multiple books kind of person, because I had this weird thinking that, you mix up the plots and the themes and the characters of different books, but that's not true. The truth about it is that no matter how many books you're reading at the same time, trust me, once you open the pages of a particular book, you'll be reminded about where you're coming from in that book, and you will stick to it. There is no way that your mind is going to be moving to and fro. It's almost like watching different movies at the same time. So you finish watching a movie, or you watch a movie halfway, and then you stop that one and you go and watch a movie. You're saying that your mind might be confused as to what is happening in each movie. Now, that's not really how it works. So this is something that I recently started doing, and I said I must include it in this tips and tricks. When you read multiple books, it can also help you in situations where you are struggling with one particular book and that book does not seem to be so particularly interesting. What you can do is that you can just drop it for a while, pick up another one, start that one, and then come back to it. It doesn't always have to be a did not finish, which is a DNF, but you get the drift. So reading multiple books will ultimately help you read more books. The third tip will be to infuse audiobooks and ebooks in your book reading, especially if you only read hard copies. Look, anybody that says that audiobooks and ebooks are not books, as in, I don't even understand. A book is a book no matter what format it comes in. So please, I'm not of the view that if you're listening to an audiobook or you're reading an ebook, then it's not a book. Who even came up with that rule in the first place? So please read audiobooks and ebooks. What I found is that when I'm doing chores, or I'm washing something up, or I'm just walking around, taking a long walk, I can listen to my audiobook. I'm excited about the book that I'm currently listening to on Scribd, which is the audiobook app that I decided to try this year. It's called The Tattoos of Auschwitz, and it's so interesting. I totally love the way the narrator is telling the story with the different accents. Like this guy, anytime I listen to his voice, I am transported to those concentration camps. I am transported into the life of Lale Sokolov, and it is just so interesting. I don't know if you guys have listened to that or you've read that book, and the fact that the story was actually based on a true life event, and it just reminds me of the book that I read by Viktor Frankl, which is Man's Search for Meaning. So I'm having a blast with audiobooks, and I plan to listen to a whole lot more as the year progresses. So please try audiobooks, try ebooks. You'll find that it's not everywhere that you may be able to take a hard copy book to, and you will just have your phone or your iPad or your tablet there, and you can pull it out and listen to whatever book you're listening to, or read it as well. So I feel like that's also a very great tip. Number 4, which is very important, is to learn to eliminate distractions. Look, there is no amount of books that you're trying to read, be it with hard copy or paperback or audiobooks or e-copies or whatever. If you don't learn to eliminate distractions, you're not going to read as much as you want to read this year in 2021. By distractions, I mean your phone, your email, your notifications, chatting endlessly, scrolling through timelines on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, whatever it is that may just be your weakness. Netflix, binging, being a couch potato in front of the TV. Now, you have to learn to be able to set aside time to read, and that is how you're going to be able to read more. When you're reading, you can have like an hour a day or 2 hours a day and just say, okay, my phone is going to be off for this particular period of time, or I am going to turn off all my notifications. I am not going to binge watch a series on Netflix until I finish this book, or I am not going to watch this until I do that. You know, it's sort of what James Clear refers to as habit stacking, where you say, I'm not going to do this until I do that, or I will only do this after I do that. So every time you read maybe a certain pages of book, you can reward yourself by watching whatever is your favorite movie or series on Netflix. So eliminate distractions so that you can read more books in 2021. Number 5 will be to embrace DNFs. DNFs are did not finish. A lot of people struggle with the idea of not finishing a book. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't finish this book. I'm such a wretch. Oh my goodness, I didn't finish this book, so I'm not going to count it as one of the books that I read. A book can be 300 pages and you got to 240 something and you're like, you know what, I'm not finishing this book, so whatever. And then you say you didn't read that book. You read the book, you just didn't finish it. So if that's what is your problem, don't worry, you read the book. So if you're looking for, oh, how many books did I read this year? I read 3, but I didn't finish them. Yeah, but you read them, but you just didn't finish them for choice. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like because you don't finish a book, that means that you can't count it as a book that you have read. You read it, but you just did not finish it. And the problem in holding on to books that you know that you're struggling through and you cannot finish is that it prevents you from reading other books, especially when you are not reading multiple books at once. So what happens is that you're struggling with that one. Eventually you end up in a reading slump, and for like 3 to 4 months you're not able to pick up any other book just because of one bad experience from one book. So please embrace books that you are not totally feeling, except there's something inside of you that is saying, okay, there's going to be a mighty amazing plot twist at the end that is going to make this book worth it. But yes, you can find that there are books that people hype on social media, and you're reading the book and you're like, what is this? Like, I don't get, why was this book hyped? And you are struggling through the pages just because people hyped it so that you can feel like, yeah, you read the book. Please, no. Dump the book, I beg. Dump the book and keep it moving. If you're reading multiple books at once, it ultimately helps. You may be able to come back to it. You may not be able to come back to it. But don't feel bad if you do not finish reading certain books. Number 6 would be to join a book club or to get an accountability partner. If you're looking to read more books in 2021, I highly suggest this. Joining a book club would open you to genres and books that you ordinarily wouldn't read. You would also get to hear perspective of book club members as they sit down to discuss a particular book. And just imagine 7 or 8 other book lovers, just the way you love books, discussing about one particular book that you loved or you didn't like, and you're getting to hear different perspectives from it. If it is a self-help book, you're able to learn different things. You're able to hear how certain principles and values are applied to personal lives, and it just boosts your morale to read more books so that you can come back to discuss them with members. If you are not able to join a book club, you can get an accountability partner who is encouraging, who will like urge you on when you're in a reading slump and sort of get you out of it, like with love and with compassion, and not make you feel like you're a loser because you've not read any book or you're not hitting your reading goals. So I think that these two are very important if you would like to either or, and if you can do both, then awesome. If you don't even have an accountability partner, you can do what they call buddy read. So if there's a book that you're trying to read, you can put it on your social media. Who would like to buddy read with me? Buddy read means that there's somebody else that you may not even be so close to, but the person happens to be reading that book as well, or the person has been thinking of reading that book. So what can happen is that you and the person are reading the book at the same time, and at the end you can discuss it. I would also suggest joining reading groups and book clubs, probably on Clubhouse, where you get good recommendations. I've gotten amazing book recommendations from listening to other book lovers across the world on Clubhouse, and I've been able to, it just sort of stokes my passion for reading and reading more books. So that's a very important tip if you're looking to read more books in 2021. The last tip, which I feel like is one of the most important, if not the all important tip, that I feel like you should definitely embrace and do if you're looking to read more books in 2021, is to read what you love. Not necessarily what is being hyped, not necessarily what has just been released, not necessarily whatever people are saying you must read at a particular time. You know, read what you love, read what you're excited about. You'll be surprised, you'll find somebody else who loves reading what you do, and you guys can buddy read, or you guys can discuss it or whatever. But it's not all the time that, yes, people find people that love to read what they like to read. You might be interested in reading books that have been published like 50 years ago by unknown people, like people that nobody even knows about. Read what you love to read. Take your time, enjoy it. It's reading. It's supposed to be filled with so much enjoyment, for lack of a better word. So please enjoy. Don't allow yourself to be pressured. Don't be like, hey, I've not hit my reading goal, I'm supposed to have joined this challenge, I'm supposed to have joined that challenge. There's so many on BookTube alone. There's so many challenges, there's so many readathons, there's so many this one, that one, there's so many tags, there's this, there's that, there's that. Read what you love. That will ultimately help you read more books. You can make use of TBRs, that's to be read, so that you can be a lot more organized. You can discuss what you're reading with other people. You can get book recommendations from other people. But please, if you read the synopsis of a book and it's not typically what you would like to read, and in that particular moment you're not open to exploring new things, pick something else that you would like to read. You'll find somebody that you discuss it with, and if you don't, whoop-de-doo, enjoy yourself and maybe film a review or tell people what you thought about the book, share it with other people. But remember, reading is supposed to be lovely, it's supposed to be light, it's supposed to be enjoyable. Even when you're learning lessons from it, it's not supposed to be like, oh my gosh, I need to like do this. So these are the 7 tips that you can use this year in 2021 if you're looking to read more books. If you have any other tips that will be good for book readers or people like myself who want to read more books in 2021, please leave below in the comments and let me know what you think of these tips, if they're helpful or if they're things that you will practice in 2021 to build your reading habits or read more books. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.